Discover the heartwarming moment when a lonely CEO transforms a single dad's life with 100 in diner cash. In the bustling heart of Maplewood, laughter echoed like music as Jack flipped pancakes in the diner where he worked and sacrificed so much for his bright-eyed son, Charlie. Every day, Jack was a quintessential single dad, striving to balance life's demands. The smell of sizzling bacon filled the air, mixing with the sound of coffee cups clattering on tables, a comforting symphony that made the diner a beloved gathering place. Jack's worn hands spoke volumes of the long hours, and still, every smile from Charlie reminded him of the American dream he was fighting to keep alive. Little did Jack know, across town in a high-rise office, Miles sat in isolation, surrounded by glass walls. The tech CEO, though wealthy, felt trapped in a gold-plated cage. His colleagues spoke in numbers, not in heartbeats. One fateful afternoon, he decided to venture down to the diner for a charity event, an effort to connect, yet he felt more alien amidst the thrumming life below. As he walked through the door, the warmth enveloped him, a stark contrast to the sterile coldness he left behind. That he couldn't help but notice Jack, the way he moved through the diner with purpose, hands deftly serving customers. Watching Jack playfully tease Charlie about his baseball ambitions filled Miles with a longing he couldn't place. Those moments of laughter were what he craved. The heart that was missing from his life resonated with Jack's earnest affection for his son. Before he knew it, the impulse gripped Miles. Something about Jack's struggle tugged at him. In a moment of spontaneity, he slipped a crisp 100 bill into a small envelope marked "For your dreams." His pulse raced as he placed it on the counter, hoping to inspire Jack somehow. But when Jack opened it, confusion flared across his face like a wildfire. He wrestled with humiliation and hurt pride, all while the diner's bustling energy began to tilt. Jack's voice trembled. "I can't take this," he said, cheeks reddening. The laughter in the diner turned to murmurs, the energy shifted, expectations hanging in the air. Some patrons observed, quietly judging the divide between the rich tech giant and the blue-collar dad. Meanwhile, Miles felt a different kind of embarrassment seep in, questioning his intentions. As Jack passionately laid bare his challenges to the gathering crowd, revealing his fight against financial strain, Miles took a step back, his world tilting as he recognized the stark contrast between their lives. Friends leaned in closer in concern, sharing glances, disbelief sparking in their eyes as the realization of this stark injustice washed over them. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In that heated moment, a bond began to form amid the chaos. Each man reached for the other metaphorically, both grappling with the fear of inadequacy. For Jack, a life of hard work not equating to success gnawed at him. For Miles, the isolation was suffocating, the glaring absence of affection felt like weight on his chest. Just as Jack prepared to unveil his dreams of a community business, a raucous commotion erupted outside, leaving everyone's eyes darting toward the door, and in that instant, their worlds threatened to collide, leaving Jack's aspirations hanging like the question in the air. What would happen next, as both men stood at a crossroads they never anticipated? The door burst open, and a gust of wind swept through the diner, carrying a flurry of leaves and startled gasps. Everyone turned to see a group of teens wearing bright green t-shirts that read "Maplewood Community Rally." They rushed in, buzzing with energy, faces flushed with excitement as if they had just completed a victorious race. "Jack! We need your help!" One of the boys shouted, the urgency in his voice cutting through the chatter. The diner's atmosphere shifted from curiosity to a mix of exhilaration and concern. Jack stepped forward, heart racing, his instincts as a devoted father and community member pulling him closer. "What is going on? Is everything okay?" The leader of the group, a girl with hair pulled back into a ponytail, replied, "We're organizing a fundraiser for the new playground. We've found a location, but we need funds and volunteers." The community center is ready to host, but we need as many people as possible to pitch in." As she spoke, Jack's mind flickered between his responsibilities as a father and his own aspirations. The words, funds, and community resonated with him. He had always dreamed of doing more for the neighborhood, giving Charlie a space to laugh and play freely. But how could he contribute when juggling 2 jobs barely allowed him to keep food on the table? Miles, still standing at the back of the diner, observed the scene unfold. He was struck by the glimmer of determination in Jack's eyes, a spark that ignited a flicker of hope in his own heart. Rather than remain a passenger in this whirlwind, it felt time to dive in. The realization hit him like a lightning bolt: he could be part of something bigger. "Excuse me," Miles interrupted, stepping forward. The teens, including Jack and Charlie, turned to him in surprise. "I have resources I can help with, donations, maybe even some connections to local businesses who want to pitch in as well." Jack looked at Miles, skepticism lining his features. "And why would you want to help a community you don't belong to?" A tense silence fell, thick with expectations. All eyes were focused on Miles, gauging his sincerity. He swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their stares. "Because I used to feel like you," he confessed. "Trapped, alone. And I think helping others might be my way of finding my path." There was a moment of hesitation, then hope crept into Jack's expression. "You really mean it?" "I do." Miles nodded, taking a step closer. "Let me show you." As the crowd buzzed with renewed energy, Jack found himself torn. Here was a chance, a lifeline thrown amidst the chaos, interwoven with the threads of their unexpected connection. Could he trust the man who had set off this emotional upheaval within him? As an uncharacteristic sense of optimism began to blossom in his chest, he wondered what it could feel like to open up, to join hands with someone from another world in order to make something beautiful and meaningful. The laughter of children nearby drifted through the diner, igniting flickers of a brighter tomorrow. "All right," Jack replied, determination simmering beneath his vulnerability. "Let us get to work." But just as the plans began to take shape, Charlie tugged at his father's sleeve, eyes wide with curiosity. "Dad, can we really have a playground? Will it be fun? And will we get to play on it together?" As Jack looked down at Charlie's eager face, a flood of emotion filled his chest. This could become a turning point, not just for him or Miles, but for the entire community. What will happen when they start working together, this unlikely duo who already have so much to overcome? Miles and Jack were on the brink of something transformative, but in the backdrop, an unforeseen challenge loomed, ready to test their bond and commitment. Would they rise to the occasion or falter under pressure? The answers lay ahead, waiting. The wood-paneled walls of the diner seemed to vibrate with newfound excitement as Jack, Miles, and the group of enthusiastic teens started brainstorming. Ideas bounced from one person to another, each voice blending together like a lively orchestra. There was a palpable energy in the air, one that Jack hadn't felt in years. It felt good. "Okay, let us lay it all out," Jack said, his heart pounding as he clasped his hands together, trying to harness the enthusiasm buzzing around him. "We need to set a date for the fundraiser and split up tasks." The teens nodded vigorously, flipping open notebooks and reaching for their phones to document ideas. Each suggestion was a layer of color on a canvas that had long been gray. "How about a bake sale?" One girl chimed in, her eyes bright. "I know a couple of local bakeries that might donate goodies. A car wash would bring in cash fast," offered another boy, fist pumping the air. Miles watched them, an overwhelming sense of belonging washing over him. He felt his previous life slip away, ones that had left him feeling so isolated. Here, surrounded by a community eager to create something lasting, he saw a chance to not only aid others, but to find himself in the process. When they all began to thrift through ideas for a playground fun run, Jack noticed Charlie's eyes sparkle with joy. His son was leaning in close to his new friend Colin, animatedly talking about obstacle courses and playground games. Jack felt a warmth surge within him. "Charlie, what do you think? Should we include a bounce house?" he asked, smiling down at his son. Yeah. And a slide. Like the big ones you see at fairs. Charlie's voice rang with a youthful enthusiasm that made Jack's heart swell. There was something about children's laughter that sparked hope. It was infectious. It dragged Miles along too, away from his own past isolation. As they plotted and planned, the door swung open again, bringing with it another rush of cool autumn air. An older woman, Mrs. Jenkins, the diner's beloved waitress, came in with her apron still on, wiping her hands on a towel. "What's all this commotion?" she asked, arching an eyebrow with a teasing grin. "We're planning a fundraiser for a community playground," Miles exclaimed, his own excitement bubbling over. "You should join us." Mrs. Jenkins smiled, her eyes lighting up. "Children and their laughter are the best sounds in the world. Count me in." In the following hours, the diner transformed. Posters filled with colorful drawings and handwritten notes began to adorn walls like a gallery of dreams, one that resonated with effort and hope. The shared laughter and sense of purpose unimaginable just hours before melded Jack and Miles closer, stitching their lives together in this tapestry of goodwill. However, beneath the surface of all this joy, both men harbored doubts passed from years of personal burdens. Miles worried about his own unresolved past and whether he truly belonged here. Jack felt the weight of his responsibilities creep back, his mind swirling with questions about how to maintain this new camaraderie while juggling two jobs. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow in the diner, a hush fell over the group. Jack looked around the faces of the kids and adults who had rallied together, excitement still simmering in the air. "Let's make this happen." His voice was steady, though inside, his heart raced. But just as they began to wrap things up, a familiar voice sliced through the atmosphere. The door swung open again, and a figure stood there in the threshold, an angry face from Jack's past, one he had hoped never to see again. All the warmth and togetherness shattered into 1,000 shards, leaving unease in its wake. "What now?" Miles whispered, sensing the shift in Jack's posture. Tension buzzed, ready to snap like a taut wire. Jack's heart sank as he locked eyes with the intruder. Could the warmth of the day withstand this storm? Would they stand together or let the past unravel everything? Jack's breath hitched as he stepped forward, putting himself between the group and the door. The figure framed in the entrance was none other than Derek, his former business partner. Time had not been kind to Derek's demeanor, his expression was a storm cloud of anger and disdain, a stark contrast to the vitality bubbling in the diner. "Jack," Derek said sharply, his voice loud enough to dim the excitement filling the space, "we need to talk. Now." Miles looked from Jack to Derek, sensing the tension knotting in Jack's shoulders. He shifted uncomfortably, wishing to sink back into the embrace of enthusiasm they had just built. But curiosity held him in place. Everyone was watching now, their carefree plans dangling in suspense. "Can it wait?" Jack replied, keeping his tone steady. Inside, however, uncertainty was gnawing at him. "I'm busy." But Derek took a step forward, gaze hot and relentless. "You think you can just ignore your responsibilities? You owe me and you know it." A low murmur arose from the group. Charlie, still caught up in the thrill of the fundraiser, asked quietly, "Dad, is everything okay?" The innocence in his voice stung Jack like a sharp jab. "It's fine, Charlie," Jack said, forcing a smile that felt all too brittle. He turned back to Derek, each heartbeat echoing louder in his ears. "What's this really about?" Derek crossed his arms, wearing the arrogance of a man who believed he still held power over Jack. "I've seen you with all these kids and their dreams. It's pathetic. You think you can just walk away from all we built and have a happy little life here?" Jack swallowed hard, the words feeling like a punch. Miles stood a bit straighter next to him, sensing the unfolding battle. The camaraderie they crafted was now threatened by this specter of Jack's past. "Leave them out of this," Jack said, his voice firmer than before, driven by the fire of protectiveness. "This is about the community, about building something. Not your twisted sense of obligation." Community. That feels like a crutch for you, Jack, Derek hissed, eyes narrowing. You think running off with your kid and playing the hero makes everything okay? You can't erase your past mistakes. The diner felt smaller. Jack's mind raced with thoughts he thought were buried. The old fears clawed back, whispering uncertainties he thought he had silenced. Here was Derek, unwanted reminders of failure, shaking the foundations of his newfound confidence. Everyone deserves a chance to do better, Derek, Miles interjected, stepping forward. His voice was steady, calm in the face of confrontation. Leaving the past behind doesn't mean the past wasn't real. It means you learn from it. That's worth something. Jack felt a surge of gratitude toward Miles. The warmth pulsing in the air began to battle the coldness emanating from Derek. The others around them stirred, emboldened by Miles' stand, but instead of backing down, Derek scoffed. Heroism doesn't suit you, Miles. You don't know what's at stake. Believe me, I know more than you think, Miles shot back, standing resolute. Then he turned to Jack, his expression softening. You can't let him win, Jack. In that moment, everything shifted. It wasn't just about Jack anymore, it was about the community they were trying to build, about the life Miles had reintegrated him into. The faces of the teens, eager and inspired, ignited rage against the remnants of his past. Jack faced Derek squarely, gripping the edge of the table. You want to bring me down? You're not welcome here. Derek's eyes flickered with a mix of surprise and fury. Just as he was about to retaliate, the bell above the door jingled again. A hush fell over the diner as a new figure entered. Her confident stride was instantly captivating, and the air shifted again. A new energy crackled, full of promise and uncertainty. All eyes turned to see who dared to enter, but Jack's focus remained on Derek. Would this be the moment that finally shattered the ties of his past? Or would he have to stand and fight for the life he was trying to build? The newcomer stepped into the diner, drawing everyone's attention like a magnetic force. Jack barely registered the details: her long dark hair, the way she carried herself with quiet strength, but all he felt was the thrum of tension between him and Derek. Excuse me. She called, her tone light yet commanding. The conversations and laughter fizzled out, making room for her presence. Is this where the fundraiser is happening? Jack turned slightly away from Derek, his heart pounding in a mix of hope and apprehension. This wasn't just about him anymore, it was about everyone around him who had invested hope in this event, including Charlie. Yeah, it is, he answered, then added for clarity, I'm Jack. She smiled warmly, the edges of her lips lifting as if she carried a bit of sunshine with her. I'm Leah. I heard about what you were doing and wanted to see it for myself. This place has an amazing vibe. Derek scoffed, clearly irritated at being overshadowed. Focus on your fantasy, Jack. You know this one last. For a moment, Leah's gaze flicked over to Derek, then back to Jack. It was almost as if she could sense the storm looming in the air. Is everything all right? She asked, genuine concern woven into her words. Jack took a breath, gathering his thoughts like a net trying to catch slipping fish. We're just dealing with a few issues. He maintained eye contact with Leah, and he could sense her sincerity, her warmth wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. Derek, still looming, looked more like a shadow growing with the fading light. He's lost touch with reality, sweetheart, Derek scoffed. He thinks he can just walk away from the messes we made together. The crowd shifted restlessly, whispers bubbling among them. Charlie's confused face mirrored his father's internal struggle. Jack needed to bring the conversation back to why they were there. We're here for a reason, Derek, he said, trying to assert control over the situation. We're here to lift this community up. Leah interjected, breaking the tension. And it sounds like you're doing an awesome job of it. Everyone deserves a chance to build something great, even with a rocky past. Her eyes sparkled with determination, and Jack felt a flicker of hope ignite in him. He drew in a deep breath, feeling the strength in her words settle within him. That's right, Miles said, stepping up beside Jack again. Everyone deserves to learn and grow from their mistakes. Even Derek. The tension shifted in the diner. Jack felt the weight of his fears slowly lifting, replaced by the energy around him, the collective spirit of the people gathered, all inspired and ready to push forward. Derek smirked, looking still unyielding. Fine. Enjoy your little fundraiser while you can. He turned on his heel, making for the door. But don't think for a second that this is over. With Derek gone, the air felt cleaner, lighter. The murmur of the diner picked up again, returning to its colorful chaos. Leah smiled broadly at Jack, her confidence sending a wave of encouragement through him. Are you ready to make this happen? Jack nodded slowly, the gravity of the moment dawning on him. I think I am. That's when Charlie piped up, eyes full of wonder. Can we really make it happen, Dad? Yes, Jack said, his heart swelling with pride for his son. Yes, we can. As the din of excitement resumed, Leah leaned closer, her eyes sparkling. I have a few ideas I think could work for the fundraiser, if you're open to them. Jack's heart raced. He felt hope blossoming, the tightness in his chest loosening. Just then, a thought struck him. Could Leah actually be someone to help him transform his vision into reality? What kind of ideas? Jack asked, excitement sparking in his words, but before Leah could respond, another figure came through the door, a familiar face, one Jack had not expected to see. His stomach twisted with a mix of dread and hope, the moment of truth had arrived. Would their plans for the future come to fruition, or would this additional twist derail everything once again? Jack's breath caught in his throat as he turned to face the new arrival. It was Monica, a local businesswoman and his former partner in the construction venture that had fallen apart months ago. She used to be a steadfast ally, her energy infectious, but today she looked different, hollowed out, as if the weight of everything had pressed down on her too hard. Monica, he managed, forcing a smile through his unease. What brings you here? Monica glanced around, her eyes searching the room until they landed on Jack. I heard about the fundraiser, she said, her voice betraying a hint of vulnerability. I thought I should come see it for myself. He tried to gauge her mood but found the tension in the air thick and hard to read. We're getting things rolling, he offered optimistically, hoping to draw her into the energy Leah had sparked. Leah here, she has some amazing ideas. As he turned to include Leah in the conversation, Jack noticed Derek's shadow still hanging, as if he had left some of his spite behind. It slithered back into his thoughts, threatening to drag Jack down again. Monica cleared her throat, pulling Jack's attention back. I know things didn't end well between us, she began slowly. And things have been tough, both for you and for me. Her honesty stirred something in Jack. A flicker of remembrance, their late-night brainstorming sessions, the laughter over shared coffee. He felt a twinge of guilt for parting ways in anger. Monica, we all have our ups and downs. I'm just trying to make things better for Charlie. She nodded, her expression softening. I get that. I've been thinking maybe I can help. I've been reevaluating all my moves lately. The flicker of hope that had bloomed when Leah arrived suddenly ignited into a flame. Really? You want to help? Monica straightened her posture, a hint of the old confidence returning. I've got some connections in the community and a few ideas myself. I think we could make it something the whole town can rally around. Leah chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. Yes. This is great, we could combine all our talents. Charlie's eyes lit up, the magic of possibility swirled around him. Can we, Dad? Can we really make a change? Jack glanced at Charlie, seeing the trust and eagerness sparkling in his son's gaze. The thrill of that moment, surrounded by voices rising in excitement, filled him with warmth. Absolutely, he replied, feeling a surge of optimism that he hadn't tasted in a long time. Then he took a breath, ready to officially embrace this collaboration. Let us sit down. I can grab some pens and paper, he said, the rhythm of hope pulsating between them. Before he could move, Leah leaned in, her excitement contagious. We'll need a plan. Let us map out our ideas, figure out who to reach out to, but Monica interrupted, her eyes wide with realization. We also need to address what happened before. We need to clean up any messes left from past projects. Jack felt that shadow creeping back, but he pushed it aside. I'll take care of that. And anything else we need, I promise. Just as they began to strategize, the door swung open again. Another figure stepped inside, not quite as familiar yet equally troubling. Derek had returned. Jack's pulse quickened, not the smooth pivot he had hoped for. Would this disrupt what was clearly building into something much bigger than the fundraiser? Thought I'd drop in again, Derek said with a slide of his hands into his pockets. His casual demeanor felt rehearsed, but the smirk was still there. I couldn't stay away from the show. The show? This is real, Jack replied, feeling the fire of determination rise inside him. Derek raised an eyebrow, laughter in his voice. Yeah. Good luck with that. Jack looked back at Leah and Monica, the energy still thrumming. They felt it too. He wouldn't back down. He couldn't that the air filled with an eclectic mix of ambition and uncertainty. Jack knew they were on the cusp of something significant. Would they stand united? Or would Derek's cloud darken everything once again? He couldn't shake the feeling that the real challenge was yet to come. What do you mean by that? Jack shot back, the fire in his tone evident. Derek's presence felt like an unwelcome chill in the room, and Jack found himself wanting to protect the fragile spark of camaraderie building between them. Derek shrugged, still smirking. I'm just saying, you're aiming high for a local fundraiser. People have short memories, especially when it comes to failures. You think they'll rally around you after what happened? Monica stiffened beside Jack, her defensive posture revealing a hint of the strong partner she once was. That's not fair, Derek. We've all had setbacks. It's how you move forward that counts. Ah, right. The inspirational speech, he sneered, crossing his arms. You think that's enough? Maybe you should stand back and take a look at the bigger picture. The tension swelled, thick and palpable, threatening to suffocate the hopes that were filling the room. Jack could almost feel the negative energy creeping in, and it made him restless, fueled by a need to defend not just his vision but the budding collaboration around him. Look, he began, drawing a deep breath to steady himself, if we focus on the past, we won't get anywhere. We have a chance to turn things around, and I refuse to let you sabotage that. We need to believe that we can make a difference together. Derek rolled his eyes, but Jack detected a flicker of something annoyance, maybe doubt. Whatever it was, it only heightened Jack's resolve. He turned away from Derek and toward the others, where Monica was meeting his gaze with fierce determination and Leah was bouncing on her toes, her excitement unwavering. Let us brainstorm, Leah said brightly, breaking the thick air of discomfort. We can put together a list of what we need. Community partners, local businesses to sponsor us. This can be impactful. Jack nodded, encouraged by Leah's infectious spirit. Right. We can form a committee. We can reach out to friends, family, anyone with ties to the community. It might even excite the town, show them there's still hope. Monica smiled, beginning to find her footing again. I know some business owners who would love to team up, and maybe we can get local media involved too. With good coverage, it'll attract people. Absolutely. Leah squealed, and even Charlie, sitting quietly in his corner, began to light up at the thought of it. Jack felt a wave of relief wash over him. Could they really do this? Could they really pull together something larger than themselves, set aside their past struggles, and create something beautiful for the community and for Charlie? Derek huffed, uninterested, slinking away to the sidelines again. Good luck with all that. You'll need it. His tone was half mocking, but Jack chose to ignore it. He'd take all the luck they could muster, and more importantly, the goodwill. A renewed energy surged through Jack as plans began to unfold around him. Ideas bounced between them, each suggestion igniting yet another spark. Pen and paper flew, and for a moment, they felt invincible. Then, just as they began to solidify their plans, the door swung open once more. A new figure entered, an older man with a broad smile, the kind that radiated kindness and wisdom. He was a well-known figure in town, an entrepreneur who had weathered many storms of his own. Jack's heart raced again, but this time with the thrill of potential. "Did I hear something about a fundraiser?" the man asked, stepping closer with an open hand. "I'd love to hear what you're cooking up." The atmosphere shifted yet again, and hope surged as Jack recognized the opportunity before them. Could this be the break they needed? Or was it just another curveball in this unpredictable game? He glanced at his team, their faces shining with anticipation. The air crackled with new possibilities, and Jack knew one thing for sure: everything was about to change. But would it be for the better or worse? Jack struggled to contain his excitement as the man approached, his warm smile inviting yet almost disarming. He felt a spark of connection, recognizing that the older man was more than just an entrepreneur, he was a figure of hope for their community. "What's your name?" Jack asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Earl," the man replied, extending his hand to each member of the group with genuine warmth. "I've seen what you all have been trying to do around here, and I believe in dreams like yours. Fundraising can change everything if you put your hearts into it." Leah's eyes lit up. "We'd love to have you on board, Earl. We want to create an event that really brings the town together." Earl nodded, his enthusiasm matching Leah's. "That's the spirit. Tell me what you envision. I can help with sponsorships, promotion, whatever you need." As ideas began to pour out once again, Jack felt that missing piece slowly slipping into place. They were no longer just a fragmented group trying to band together against Derek's cynicism. With Earl now part of their vision, they were shaping a community renaissance. Monica described her connections to local businesses, while Charlie, previously silent, chimed in with a suggestion about a bake sale. It was simple, yet his eyes sparkled with the essence of what this all meant: a chance to be recognized, to belong. "Dude, that's perfect," Jack exclaimed, ruffling Charlie's hair affectionately. "Everyone loves baked goods." Earl chuckled. "You'd be surprised how powerful something so simple can be. A bake sale is just a way to show the community that they can contribute in meaningful ways, even through small acts." Charlie beamed at the compliment, and Jack felt a rush of gratitude. This wasn't just a fundraiser anymore, it was a chance for their small town to reconnect, to heal, and to lean into the warmth of shared experiences. But amidst the joy and excitement, a voice from the back punctured the atmosphere. "What's the point?" Derek sneered, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. "You really think it'll work? You can't be serious." Jack's heart sank. The old doubts crept in like shadows, threatening to envelop the gathering joy. "We're trying to bring hope back, Derek," he said, maintaining eye contact with the others gathered around, willing them to support him with just a glance. Earl stepped forward, unmistakably calm against Derek's hostility. "Every great change takes a spark. Let this be yours." His authoritative voice cut through the tension, compelling everyone to silence. "You have the support right here. It's about more than just one person. It's an entire community." Jack could feel the pulse of the room changing again, everyone beginning to lean into that spark. Even Derek seemed taken aback, the smirk fading from his face. The group began to talk over each other once again, fueled by a shared sense of determination. As Jack scribbled notes on the whiteboard, ideas flowed with energy: charity auctions, local performances, all interconnected like a web of shared hopes and dreams. Yet, in the back of Jack's mind, a flicker of worry lingered. What if it wasn't enough? What if Derek's doubts proved true, and they failed? It left a pit in his stomach, but he couldn't dwell on that now. "We'll make it work," he told himself, looking at the expectant faces around him. "We just have to keep believing." As plans took shape, Jack noticed the sunlight beginning to dip, casting a warm glow through the windows. It lit up their intensity, and for just a moment, everything felt perfectly aligned. They were a team, a family working together towards something bright, but just as they reached the most exhilarating part of their discussion, the door creaked open again. Jack's heart raced. Who could it be this time? Could it be another ally? Or would it be a final nail in the coffin for their dream? The door swung open slowly, and a figure stepped inside. The air thickened with uncertainty. Jack's heart skipped a beat as he recognized the newcomer. It was Sarah, a familiar face from town, but what caught everyone's attention was the man behind her. A tall, broad-shouldered guy in a crisp suit, with an air of authority. Jack could almost feel the room's energy shift again, like a predator had entered the scene. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Sarah began, her voice wavering slightly. "But this is Ted, my boss. He's here to see what we're all about." Her eyes darted between Jack and Derek, as if bracing herself for conflict. Jack felt his stomach knot. He had heard of Ted. He was the CEO of a prominent tech company known for both philanthropy and cutting corporate ties without blinking. The man was a powerhouse and not usually approachable. "Please, go on," Ted said, his voice smooth, but his expression serious as he casually surveyed the group. "I'm curious about this event you're planning." Jack took a deep breath. "We're organizing a community fundraiser to help revitalize the town. Our first idea is a bake sale, but we're looking at bigger things too, like local performances and charity auctions." As he spoke, he felt both excitement and uncertainty. Would Ted see the value in simple ideas? The group eagerly chimed in, filled with fresh energy. Leah described their vision, her passion infectious. Monica mentioned her connections with local businesses, and Charlie even shyly added a few more ideas about food and entertainment, but as the conversation continued, Jack could see Ted's brow furrowing. "Okay, but this all sounds rather simple," he said, finding his words carefully. "In my experience, larger projects require more than just passion and baked goods. Have you considered how you'll actually fund these activities? Without proper backing, this could just be a pipe dream." Jack's heart sank like a stone. Glimmers of hope started to dim. Just then, Earl stepped forward, his calm demeanor radiating assurance. "What if we all contribute? Every little bit adds up. Bringing the community together is about the collective effort, not just financial resources." For a brief moment, Jack felt the walls close in. He could almost hear Derek's scoff echoing in his mind. Had they really bitten off more than they could chew? But then he glanced at Earl, who stood tall, facing Ted with unwavering conviction. "Sure, every big project starts with an idea, but it also requires belief from influential people like you," Earl continued. "And the impact you can make by supporting a community-driven effort will ripple far beyond profits." Jack watched the exchange, tense but hopeful. Could Ted see the passion they all felt? Would he recognize the community longing to thrive? "Let me think about this," Ted eventually replied, his voice steady but uncertain. A flicker of something, was it intrigue? Passed through his eyes as he regarded Jack's group. "I might have some suggestions, but that doesn't mean I'll support it." As they stood there, Jack felt the weight of their aspirations rest heavily in the air between them. It was a fragile hope, yet it felt monumental. The tension hung like thick fog, blending uncertainty with unyielding hope. Could this be the moment that turned their dream into reality, or would it fizzle out like so many before? But as Ted turned to leave, he hesitated, glancing back over his shoulder. "I'll consider reaching out to some of my contacts. But remember, you have to believe in this. Together, you can achieve more than you realize." Jack felt a spark reignite within him. The conversation may have taken an unexpected turn, yet something told him this meeting was exactly what they needed. As Ted exited, leaving Sarah to provide more encouragement, Jack realized they stood on the precipice of something larger than themselves. They were no longer just a group, they were a force, but as Jack looked around, determination blazing in their eyes, he couldn't shake the feeling that Derek was still lurking, waiting to throw a wrench into their plans. What was he planning next to undermine their hard work? Jack's thoughts raced, but he pushed them aside. There was too much at stake now. He turned back to the group, who were still buzzing with energy after their encounter with Ted. "We need to keep this momentum going," he said, his voice steady despite the whirlwind in his mind. "Let us finalize our ideas and work on a solid plan." "Right. And let us not let anyone, especially Derek, discourage us," Monica added, her renewed spirit evident. Leah grinned, pulling out her phone, ready to take notes. Charlie hopped in with enthusiasm, his little hands gesturing excitedly as he suggested games for the bake sale. As they brainstormed, Jack felt a sense of purpose filling the diner. Each idea felt like a brick in the foundation they were building, a community of support surrounding him. The laughter of the group mingled with the warmth of the diner, creating a cocoon that drowned out Derek's negativity, but the fleeting joy was interrupted by the sudden creak of the door. All heads turned to see Derek re-enter. Tension thickened the air as he stepped forward, a crooked grin plastered on his face. "Back for another round of how to fail spectacularly?" he taunted, arms folded across his chest. Jack stepped forward, unwilling to let Derek's negativity derail the progress they had made. "We're not failing, Derek. We're building something real here, a community effort." "Right," Derek scoffed, rolling his eyes. "You think some bake sale and artsy ideas are going to actually change anything? You've missed the point entirely. Actually, we're aiming higher than you can imagine," Miles interjected, standing fiercely beside Jack. "We're tired of living in the past. We're moving forward." Derek hesitated, the smirk fading slightly. "You don't think you can raise money or support when you're starting from scratch, do you? Everyone will look at you and laugh. It's a waste of time." Jack felt the fire in him rise, not just for himself, but for the entire group. "You don't get it, do you? It's not about the money. It's about bringing people together. It's about hope, something you clearly lost along the way." For a brief moment, there was silence. Those gathered around exchanged glances of uncertainty, but the warmth of their atmosphere held. Derek's expression flickered momentarily before returning to contempt. "Fine. Enjoy your little fantasy. Just don't say I didn't warn you." He turned to leave, and the collective air held its breath. As Derek exited, Jack found Charlie's hopeful gaze searching his face, filled with anticipation for what was to come. "Dad, are we still going to build the playground?" Jack knelt down to meet Charlie eye to eye, filled with emotion. "Yes, buddy. More than ever. We're going to make it happen." In that moment, something inside Jack shifted. He straightened up and spoke with conviction. "Let us shift the focus to what matters. We've got this community, and we can inspire people. No matter how hard it gets, we'll stand together." Cheers erupted from the teenagers, and the energy reignited the room. Monica, Leah, and Miles nodded, their faces aglow with determination, as if they were collectively breathing the same spirit. Together, they were more than the sum of their parts. As Jack moved to finalize the plans, an unexpected warmth enveloped him. It was a feeling of family, of belonging. Not just for him, but for Charlie and all the others present. The laughter and engagement reflected what could bloom from their collaboration. They huddled tight, ideas flying back and forth, fueled by a shared passion that seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. There, inside the diner and outside in the community waiting to be touched by their effort was hope. Days turned into weeks as they organized themselves. Flyers filled the diner windows, bright with colors and enthusiasm. Local businesses came on board, often inspired by the rallying call Jack's group had put forth. Even Aunt Betty, the town's baker, promised cookies and pies. And just as they looked poised for success, they received news that the local news station would cover their story. A significant boost to their burgeoning partnership with Earl and the others in town. As the day of the fundraiser arrived, the air buzzed with excitement. The diner overflowed with families, children racing around with wide smiles. Jack stood for a moment, watching it all unfold, his heart swelling with pride. He scanned the crowd, spotting Charlie hand in hand with Leah, laughing amid a group of children. Everything they had fought for was manifesting right here and now, a community united. Even Derek's bitter presence felt far removed in that moment. He tried to sow doubt, but they had planted seeds of purpose instead. With every smile exchanged and every act of kindness witnessed, Jack knew this was the moment they would never forget. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues over the diner, Jack found himself speechless. This was only the beginning, and together, they would weather everything that came next. Suddenly a thought struck him. It was their story that needed to keep being told. What now sprang to mind was how they could inspire other communities to rise as they had. As the last events of the fundraiser commenced, and Jack joined Charlie in tossing confetti amidst laughter, he felt that invigorating promise within him. There was a new path forward, forged from love, support, and belief in something greater than themselves, and so, with hearts full of hope and a future ablaze with possibilities, they stepped forward together, ready to embrace whatever came next. This was their moment, a new story just beginning to unfold. Now it's your moment. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you further. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and let us know you love these heartfelt transformations. Comment down below your feelings about this ending and how you feel about Jack and Miles' journey, and for the love of community, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and believe in hope. Don't wait not even one more second to support this channel and keep this community growing.